The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff or management of Visionary-related entertainment.
Aloha and welcome to Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where you'll find us talking story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and staff to find out how they're working to support the needs within our community. Maui Nonprofit Notes is generously sponsored by Pacific Source. If you're building or remodeling a home, please stop by Pacific Source's Cabinet and Appliance Showroom located in the Waikapu Bayshard. I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific, and your host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. During this hour, we share some of the experiences of our nonprofit agencies and just how they're changing lives, changing communities, and creating miracles of hope for those with needs. And today we're starting off the show with some folks from PACT, that's Parents and Children Together, of the Maui office. And we've got with us the Assistant Program Director, Ken Hunt. Hi, Ken.
Hi, Susie. Good to see you again. Thank you for having us back.
Hey, listen, what we find out is when people haven't been on for a while, and then they come back on and they kind of reintroduce us to your programs and what you're doing, we realize that maybe that's a segment of the activities of the nonprofit organizations that we haven't touched on specifically. And so we're in the midst of Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
That's correct.
And it just seemed appropriate that we have you back.
Of course. And thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for coming. So give us a little rundown on what PAC does and how this month is going. And I know you've had some activities and there's some continuing. And then we've got a couple of guests with you that we're going to talk to.
Sure. Thank you. Parents and Children Together is a program that is carried out statewide. We are with the Maui office of Parents and Children Together. We also have services on the island of Lanai and Molokai within the Maui County. Specifically, we're here to talk about the activities of the Maui Family Peace Center and the services that we offer to the community here in Maui. Some of those services include providing temporary restraining orders, any crisis prevention intervention, help for survivors who are victims of domestic violence. We provide group activity and classes and sessions for individuals who are referred to us by the courts, who are deemed batterers. We also provide services for children who have been exposed to violence in the home or wherever it may occur. And there's a wide range of services that are offered at different times during the week. As a result of this week being highlighting Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we are providing added activities which would include sign waving to indicate our support and concern with this issue. We were involving some of our clients in some of that sign waving at their voluntary decision to do so, but we are encouraging as a part of their increasing responsibility for their involvement in this issue. It's a very difficult issue in the community, as you know, and we want to create awareness and education and prevention when we can.
Right. So domestic violence is something that is just ongoing. I mean, there's not. I don't think that I've heard anybody say they know how to stop it or how to turn people around so we don't have it anymore. But we do have some things we can do, like point out the signs of it. I know before the show started, we mentioned briefly that early signs, perhaps there's a way to make it not necessarily easier to get out of it, but what are we looking at? And I know that the people you brought with you are probably the ones to tell me about that.
Yeah, let me introduce Connie Meekoff, who is the program supervisor with the Family Peace Center here on Maui, and also is a program supervisor for our Lanai program. And also we have a guest, Kima. Jamal, who is with us, who has actually been a participant in our program, and they're both willing to speak to these issues. So I'll introduce Connie first and let her.
Hi, Susie.
Hi, Connie. How you doing today?
I'm good.
You have a big job.
We do. So we work not only with the survivors of domestic violence, we also work with the offenders of domestic violence and the children that are affected by domestic violence.
That just about covers it.
And that covers the whole gamut. It's not like there are clear-cut signs of what to do. You're going to need assistance. You're not able to do it on your own. The offenders or the batterers need help in stopping the behavior because it is a learned behavior that they probably saw growing up, something that they witnessed in their home, so that was their normal. This is what they see that as. The survivor needs assistance in making the decision when and how to leave, but then it's also their decision. A lot of it is factored in with they have their children there, financial reasons. There can be varying reasons why they decide to stay. We never ask them, why don't you leave? We wait until it's their decision to determine when they want to leave, but we support them in being there if they decide to stay. It normally takes a woman 7 times before she leaves for good.
7 different experiences.
7. She may leave 7 different times before the final one is I'm done
okay.
and I'm gone. So,
Wow.
Yes,
7, the magic number.
the magic number.
Do they? Is each occurrence escalating?
I would say for the most part, yes. And it just depends on how some of it starts. It could start with verbal abuse, name calling, things like that. It can escalate into malicious property damage where they start destroying their property. It can turn into psychological abuse and then physical. Or it could be a combination of all of those, or it could be 1 or 2, or it could just be 1. It just depends on that offender's knowledge of what he has learned and saw from growing up and how he decides to take control of the situation, because it's a control at that point.
Okay, so for the offender, it's all about control.
Correct.
And the more control they can have, and insist on.
Yes.
And are they working towards a point where they don't even have to work at control? They just have them under control?
Yes, they get to that point where it can be financial, it can be psychological, like I said. They just get them to the point where they have demeaned them so much that their self-esteem is completely gone. And this is the only person that survivor has to rely on. So then they feel like, okay, now I'm stuck. I have no place to go. And then they're completely under the control of that offender or batterer.
Wow. I want to say it's almost, what's scary. There's no other word for it. I mean, because I would think that at some point, I mean, if you've gotten into this situation and maybe you've had no experience with it, you've just, all of a sudden these things start happening. I would assume that you can get quite a ways down the road on the path towards that control before you realize this is happening.
Yes, and because I grew up in a home where there was domestic violence, I grew up as the child. So, of course, back then, we didn't know what that was called. This is your home. Everything stays in the home. You don't tell anybody. And the added gamut of that is that my father was a police officer. So that was even a double whammy, because then you would call the police, they would show up, but then they would leave and he would still be there. So then you've left the batterer at home with his wife and children because of the good old boy network. We're not going to take him away. So then that's a trauma that's affected us and me and my siblings in that way as the child, and witnessing it and experience it and thinking, okay, is this normal? Is this what growing up is supposed to be like? Is this what's going to happen to me? So it goes, and my mom as a survivor, so she had her experience. Me as the child exposed to it, me and my siblings, we had our experiences. So it's totally different on how we experience that and how we take that moving forward. And actually, by the grace of God, none of us ended up either being a survivor ourselves or a batterer. So it was only, I think, because of my mom and how she dealt with it that it helped us. We still had trauma dealing with it, because there's, you have to forgive. At some point, there has to be forgiveness for that man who is your father and because of what he's done. But we were able to come out of it in a very good way, where my brothers didn't turn out to be batterers or offenders, and my sister and I did not get into relationships where we ended up having to be survivors of it or expose our children to it.
Did your mother eventually leave?
Nope.
She stayed with it?
My father died 2 years ago. My mother stayed with him until the end.
Oh, my goodness.
It just finally got to the point where my brothers got big enough where they convinced him, I won't tell you exactly what they said, to never do it again. And he stopped, and we ended up staying. But yeah, it was always in my mind, why did she never leave? And not until I got into this work did I understand why she didn't leave. I still was mad at her about it for a long time of why she didn't, because she exposed that to us and she shouldn't have. But no, she stayed with him for almost 50-something years.
Oh, my goodness.
Exactly. Yes.
Now, you talked about trying to turn him in or having the police
Yes.
come to you.
Yes.
Did that escalate things whenever that happened? Or did it only happen once?
It depended on no, it happened more than once. It just
Okay.
depended on the situation, whether it escalated or they were able to calm him down enough where he would either leave or just go into a room and then not say anything. But then there would always be situations again and again and again.
Right.
But you just do the same thing. You call the police and you're just like, okay, they're not taking him. What the heck? You know, we're all in the bedroom on the bed or, you know, cuddled together because we're young and we don't know what's going on.
Right.
But yeah, it's difficult.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So that gave you some great perspective as you enter into the work of working with, as you say, all three.
Yes.
The offenders, the
Survivors.
and the children.
Yes, it gives me a better perspective. I wasn't quite welcoming when I first started to wanting to work with the offenders, but then I needed to understand them. So I was mostly working with just the survivors. And then as I moved forward in my career, I've now worked with the offenders and kind of understand how to help them better. And then now we're working with children, which is really difficult. You have to really be empathetic and compassionate to work with children because that's so difficult. It's a hard one for me to do. I just don't like seeing children having to be exposed to that. So I
Right.
get really emotional with that. And when I'm talking to parents, I explain to them, this is what you're doing to your child because you just don't understand. And they say, oh no, they were in the room. They didn't hear anything. They heard, they saw, they felt every single thing because then they're going to tell us. They may not tell you, but we'll find out once we start working with them exactly how they felt.
So having been through that experience, you know that it can turn out well. I mean, it's going to take time.
Yes.
But now, as you say, the thing with your dad, it was the idea of forgiveness.
Correct.
Were you able to ever forgive?
It took me a long time.
I'll bet.
I'm going to say it took me up until 2005. I moved to Hawaii in 2004. I met my husband, and we had a conversation about what had happened in my life, and then he met my dad. And he built a bond and a relationship with him, and so I got to see him in a different light.
Okay.
And not until I saw him in that light with my husband was I able to go into my heart and forgive him and say, this is how I felt. I just need to let you know. And then I didn't want him to die and me not say anything
Right.
or to forgive him. So at that point, then I was finally able to do that.
Interesting.
Yes.
So he could show his other side, I guess, to
Yes.
your husband.
Correct.
And through that, you saw that really wasn't who he was. Now, do you feel that he was acting on something he'd seen and learned
Yes.
from his family?
Of course. Yes.
Okay.
It was his household growing up. He didn't grow up with a father. And of course, his mom had, different men going in and out of the house and that kind of relation. I think that affected him a lot in how he grew up. So it was who he turned out to be. But like I said, once the forgiveness came, when I saw that interaction with my husband and his interaction with the grandchildren, his interaction with the grandchildren was the complete opposite of his interaction with us. He was never able to hug us, kiss us, to say, I love you. But I would watch him with his grandkids and I'll be like, oh my goodness, who is this person? I don't know who this man is.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't know how that transpired and how he made that change. I mean, he even found God. I didn't even know any of that was going to happen because of who he was and who I saw growing up. But he did. He made that complete 360, which was a shock for me because I was the oldest of four. So I saw everything. I witnessed everything. So people can change. It does take time, and you have to be the one to make that change. No one else can do that for you.
Right.
Your partner, your children, no other family members. That has to come from you.
So now you mentioned that you moved away.
Yes.
Did this all happen while you were gone? When you came back, he was a different person?
Yes, it happened after we were all grown up and had left the house at that point. And when I came back, when me and my siblings started having children, and he was around the grandchildren, we started seeing the difference. And like I said, when I saw him with my husband and saw the interaction, because I never saw positive interaction between him and any other man, even my brothers, I saw the change in him.
Interesting.
It was very interesting.
Wow. We have to take a short commercial break, and we'll be right back and talk some more.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with our nonprofit executive directors and staff, find out what's happening in their world. And today, at the beginning of the show, we're talking with folks from PACT, that's Parents and Children Together, talking about domestic violence. And during this first segment, I don't know about you folks, but I'm sitting here, I can't think of what to say. I'm just dumbfounded. And I want to thank Connie for sharing all that with us and with all of you out there, because this is something that, as much as people try to hide it, it really can't be hidden.
Right.
The effects on children, the effects on both parents, on the whole family, extended family even. And so we're going to talk now. Connie, you've got somebody you were going to talk to here, someone you've been working with. I'll let you take over.
So this is Kima Jamal. So she's going to tell everybody her experience and coming in from the perspective of a survivor of domestic violence.
Wow, good afternoon. I'm so excited to be here, but Connie just has me where I feel like I can't even talk. Like, duh.
Hey, but as a survivor, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. But, first I want to say you have on the color purple. And that's domestic violence, so it's nice to see that. Mm-hmm. For me, I would have to say, honestly, it was normal. Abuse just became normal. I had a double-edged sword in my life. So I was a chronic alcoholic. I danced many years throughout the world, performing on different stages, and I had a pretty good life. And then my picker was broke, and what I tended to do was pick partners that were not healthy themselves, and they like to hit. So for me, for a long time in my life, I couldn't make a rational decision in my head. Well, he hit me, but I don't deserve this. But he hit me, well, I do deserve this. So I fought with myself, and I stuck with it for a long time, because a lot of times in my situation, it was, I'm sorry. They come with stories, gifts, trips, just apologize. But once I got hit, it was startling to me, because unlike Connie, as a child, I had a mother and father that loved me unconditionally. So I wasn't in a home that was abusive. Once I got older and on my own, and like I said, my picker was broken, I just was very dysfunctional, the relationships I got into.
Right. So you went from one relationship to another, always picking the wrong guy.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I would tell you the majority of the long-standing relationships that I did have in my life were unhealthy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the final thing that drove you to find out how to get out of this, or how to change? Or
I wanted to live. Everything that I had worked for in my life and who I had become as an adult woman was not, it didn't radiate to me. I didn't understand who I had become and what I had turned into and what I had allowed to happen to me. So I think it just came to a point where I just wanted to save my own life. And I wanted to make sure, because I have 2 children. I have a 10-year-old and a 9-year-old son. And I wanted them to know that they don't deserve to know about domestic violence or to see their mother abused. And so I had just stood firm. I wanted to live. And I had been around so many women that didn't make it alive.
Huh. Wow.
Even a lady I went to church with here in Kahului, an older Filipino woman, I was sitting by her in church, and the next week I went to church and she wasn't there. And that happened in 2015. So, and that's when I had walked into PACT. And when I had walked into PACT, I was very broken. I was scared. I was scraping for resources to get some, not only support, but I needed somebody to tell me I was going to be okay.
Wow. So that was your first real step forward.
Pretty much, yes. Where I was just willing just to unlayer everything. And my last relationship that was long-term was with an influential man, attorney here on Maui. So there was a lot of hidden secrets and things that I wasn't willing to discuss. And, the good old boys club. And so I was in fear. I was in fear of who could I trust, who was going to protect me. So I had a lot of different things going on. But when I walked into PACT, immediately, right when I walked in, the first face I seen, Danielle, she put her arms around me, and I'll never forget that. She made me feel like I was in the right place.
Interesting. So then what are we talking about to work with Kima?
Yes.
Okay. I want to get it right. Are we talking about a series of counseling sessions, support groups? What?
She joined our Pu'uhanoa, which is our survivor support group. And then she had that connection with the survivors in the group and with the group facilitator. And then the rest of the staff that were able to help her and to continue to hold her up as we continue today. And as she holds us up to a higher standard of how we're helping. So, yeah, that's how we were able to support her.
I see. Now, you totally left that relationship.
Absolutely. I left that relationship in 2015. And I like what Connie said, to hold me up. I got a voice back when I started taking the survivors group. And there was a lot of different elements I had to do to heal, do creative therapy, which is one of the therapies that is done in that class, a lot of art drawing, information where I could start speaking and saying things that happened to me and not feel ashamed, because the shame and guilt can control somebody. Right. So now I'm just like, all right, I'm not taking this, no more this, no more that, no more this. And I'm a stark advocate in the community where I don't want to see another woman violated, or a man. But for being, especially women and children, I really stand firm with getting information out to women so they know the resources that are out here so they can get help.
That's incredible. That's quite a story. We're talking about years of abuse from different people.
I would say two. I don't want to sound that crazy.
Okay.
I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy. It was two, and one was more physical, the other one was more mental, psychological.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that combination together, I've had emotional abuse and physical abuse on both sides.
Interesting. So how many folks, I guess the question is, you walked into PACT. You'd heard about them someplace.
Yes.
And went to see if it was for real.
Yes.
And obviously it was, because 2 years later, here you are talking about it.
Correct.
But is that the traditional way things happen, that people realize that it's this, or I'm destined to be like that forever?
Once they get to the point of where she was, but then it takes a while. A woman may walk in and believe in her heart that she's ready, and then walk back out, and we may not see her for a while because she's really not ready yet. everybody has to get to their point. We can't make them
Right.
get there. We can't say you need to leave, you need to go. We can only support them and help them along their journey. And then when they're ready to leave, be there for them and help them to rise above what is happening in their lives.
I got you. Okay. So the best thing we can do is help spread the word that you're here
Correct.
and what you do, and how can they get a hold of you? What's your phone number or website? What's the best way for people to find out about you?
We are here in Wailuku. We can be reached at 243-7001. It's very easy to call, pick up the phone and call and talk to any one of our staff who can, and if you just have questions, you're maybe in a situation, not sure about, what to do next, you can just give us a call and ask and be willing to accept, information and be willing to take this big step forward. We're here to help. That's what
You're here for when they're ready.
yeah.
And I agree with you. I think that I understand that you can't help somebody who's not ready.
Correct.
But you can tell them what you can do and what you have done, and then it's their decision to make if that's for them,
Yes.
and if now's the time.
Yes.
And I wish we had another half hour or hour. Hello, this has been great. I mean, the sharing. Thank you so much for opening up your lives to everyone and telling them what you've been through. And I mean, I agree. No man or woman should have to go through this, or children.
Correct.
It's a terrible thing, and how do we stop it? We show that there's a better way. Thank you for joining us today.
If I can just say,
Go ahead.
from this batterer standpoint, just saying that it is a very difficult step to take, and sometimes we're forced to. We have to because of things that we've done as batterers, and it's the courts that force us into these situations. But it does still take an individual choice to make a change, and we have the power to do that.
Right. Very good. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you.
Kima and Connie.
Yes.
And Ken.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susie.
Thank you,
Cool.
Susie.
Good to
Thank
see
you
you.
so much,
All right,
and keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, and congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Okay, second half of the show coming up. We're going to be talking with some folks from Kalima, Maui, and they are. You're getting ready for a huge job fair. This is your time of the year, and the folks at Kalima. I love what you say so often in your conversations and things that you're all about inclusion. Yeah. And we're going to be talking here with Debbie Wonderscheid, who is the Director of Marketing and Job Development for Kalima. Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Susie. It's great to see you. Thanks again for having us over.
Hey, I tell you, it seems like every time I think about you guys and what you do, I'm just so impressed with what you're able to help people find out that they can do.
That's right. There's a lot of barriers, and we help break through those barriers in a lot of different ways through the different programs we offer.
Right. Now, primarily you're talking about, these are people with developmental disabilities?
It can be any kind of disability,
Okay.
any kind that's doctor documented, including mental illness. Any kind that's a doctor documented.
Okay. That keeps them from, I don't want to say maturing, but being able to live a normal life.
Right. It could be mobility issues. It could be hearing, visual, lots of different obstacles. And we just give them a little boost and go from there. We started in 1955 with tuberculosis sufferers out in the sugarcane fields. We started by rehabilitating them, and since then we've moved on to just and grown a lot over those years actually. And
I was looking at some of the things on you got a new website, or it's kind of new. It's been updated or something.
It's been updated.
Okay, because you've got streams of people that you've helped and where they're working today.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the biggest things that maybe a lot of people don't understand. We see the Kalima trucks out there going to do
Right.
lawn work and so forth and so on. And that you have a training program for that, staff that you get contracts from different companies in the county and so forth to do their lawn maintenance, etc. But I think, to me, the most important program that you have is this job training. I mean, as I was looking down the list of the different places where people have gotten jobs, that list is just growing by leaps and bounds.
It is. We're very fortunate to have such a great community in Maui to work with us. And you're right. We started with the grounds and janitorials. We have ground services. We have 15 crews that go out every day, about 65 employees, and then supervisors. But in addition to that, not everybody wants to do grounds or janitorial for a living. So we have community placement, and we also offer community placement classes through the Department of Vocational Rehabilitation. That's called VWATS, Vocational Work Adjustment Training Services, but we like to call it How to Get a Job.
Now that we all understand, don't we?
Right, and we have placed a lot of people out in the community as well. We also have a day program through the Department of Health, a waiver program that works on independent living skills, and we just renovated that building, it's a beautiful building. But I was here to talk about the jobs out in the community, as well as the job, or how to get a job class. I actually brought 2 students with me today that have just excelled, as a lot, or most of our students have, but I have 2 that are actually very gainfully employed right now, and I thought I would introduce them now, if
That'd be
that's
great.
okay.
That would be great.
I have Joanna and I have Noelle, and they both went through our job training class. And what did you think of the class, Joanna?
It was okay.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah. What did you learn there?
What impressed you the most?
Am I putting you on the spot?
I think so.
Kinda.
I think we are. So now, Joanna, you're working at
Gate Gourmet.
Gate Gourmet.
Yes.
Now, what is Gate Gourmet?
It's like a place where people make food for the airlines, different airlines.
Okay, are these for the private planes?
For any plane.
Oh, any plane.
All the planes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
It's the catering service for the
Yeah.
airlines.
Yes, for the airlines.
So do you work in the kitchen, or what do you do?
I work for Hawaiian Airlines. I used to work for American Airlines. I used to make sandwiches, but then they moved me to Hawaiian Airlines. So for Hawaiian Airlines, we prepare like entrees, like we make like chicken, rice, like broccoli and carrots.
Okay, now, do they serve more of a meal on
Yeah.
that plane than
There's like a
the others?
variety of meals.
Oh, okay, interesting. So what is your work day like? How early in the morning do you start?
Well, I start at 6,
Okay,
and we're supposed to be finished like at 2:30,
okay,
but it depends on how long we finish. like,
Okay.
With stocking
okay. So you start at 6, and you're making, you're cooking the meat, cooking the.
no, we're not cooking
You're not
the
cooking.
product. We're
Okay.
just putting it together.
Packaging it.
Yes.
I see. So another kitchen does that.
Yeah, the chefs makes the food.
Okay, they make the food,
And we prepare it.
give it to you in big containers or whatever, and then you make the plates.
Yes.
And that's what goes on the plane. Oh, I see. Okay. You mean the flight attendants don't have to do all that? It's already
No.
packaged and ready to hand out?
We just gotta hand it out.
Interesting. Okay.
It-
You don't ever have to do dishes.
Oh no, there's a dish room too. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're pretty specialized then.
Yes.
You like it?
It's hard work. So, but it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
What is there something else in that line that you would rather be doing than putting the plates together? Do you like to be in the kitchen?
Oh no,
Oh.
I'd rather.
You're not a- I'm not a
prepare
cook.
the food. I'm not really a good cook.
Okay. All right. Very good. So now, how long have you been doing this at Gate Gourmet?
I think 3 to 4 months, maybe.
I think so.
Yeah.
around
Okay.
there.
So you're a recent graduate of the program.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, do they ever graduate, or is it just kind of?
They do. We have it's 8 to 12 week program, and at the
Okay.
end of that, there's an internship, and then a lot of times they're actually hired or offered employment after the internship because the employers trained them, and that is the case of Noelle. She went through.
Hang on 1 second before we go on to Noelle.
Okay.
I want to. Did you intern for the Gate Gourmet? Did you do your? No. Okay.
No, I didn't.
You did your internship.
I did my internship at the Baldwin Library, but they said they didn't have that much.
They didn't have enough work
They
to do.
didn't have
Yes,
openings
so-
at the
Yeah.
time.
Okay. Interesting. What a combination. Okay, we've got to take another short break, and we'll be right back. And this time we'll talk with Noelle.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with our nonprofit agencies and find out what they're doing and to help the folks in their world. And as we know from, 8 years of being on the radio, there's lots of little worlds out there that need help and people looking for help and organizations who provide it. We just have to put the two together. And so we're talking here this afternoon with Debbie Wonderscheid, who is the Director of Marketing and Job Developer for Kalima Maui. And before the break, we were talking with Joanna about her experiences at Gate Gourmet. And now we've got Noelle, and you're working for who now?
TJ Maxx.
TJ Maxx, how's that?
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how long have you been there?
1 year.
1 year?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Did you do your internship there?
Yes.
So you just started right out. They liked you. They wanted to keep you.
Yes.
And here we go.
Yes.
So what do you do for TJ Maxx?
I'm a greeter, and I work in the back room. I lay up clothes, and that's probably it.
I got you. Okay. So from the front of the house, greeting people, to the back of the house, pulling out clothes and getting them ready to go into the showroom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yep.
And you like it.
Yes.
And what, you took this program, was this something that you found out about, or did somebody take you to Kalima, or?
Somebody took me to Kalima, Maui.
Great thing, huh?
Yes.
Do you thank them?
Yes.
Hey, there you go. Okay. So that's what we like to hear, right?
Yep.
So now you become fairly independent by virtue of having this job. Is it a 40-hour week or 20-hour week, or?
No.
No. Okay. So that's something that hopefully you can build it up to?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. That's, I've never been in that store.
It's a beautiful store.
Shame on me. I don't like shopping.
They are one of our favorite partners. They're just awesome, and their prices are wonderful.
Are they?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I should go check it out, huh?
Yep.
Okay, maybe I'll get you at the front door.
Yeah.
I can say, hey, I know you. You're Noelle. That's neat.
Yep.
So which part of the job do you like the most?
Greeting people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think so. I would think so. So Debbie, two great examples of what your program does, and we've got smiling faces, happy people. They don't look the worse for working. I mean, I think they love working, right? That's what you've wanted, was to be able to work.
It does build self-confidence. I've seen a lot of growth in both of them since they've started our classes, and now we're working, and it's great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Now, is there another round that they can get into for more education into more advanced kinds of?
Well, we don't offer that, but
Okay.
we are getting ready to actually start another class at Baldwin High School, or excuse me, Maui High School. It's going
Okay.
to start next week, and at the end of that, they will all have internships. We're going to have 10 students, and then in January, we'll be over back at Baldwin again and have classes
okay.
over there. So-
Cool. So you're doing, gosh, that's almost every 2 months?
Mm-hmm.
10-week class? That can't be. Wait,
Yeah,
10 weeks of class.
Well, they
2.5
they
months.
will overlap a little bit at the
Okay.
end.
Okay.
That's kind of how it's planned.
So now in these classes, do you bring in people who work in the industries to tell some of the things that they do, or?
That's a great idea. We haven't.
Oh.
We, from our experiences, we do, and we do take them on field trips.
Okay.
A few times. We'll try to go out a couple times just to show them different opportunities that are out there. And we practice with interviewing and resume writing and filling out applications and people. Learning how to work with people, supervisors, customers,
Right.
coworkers, and then we teach them about themselves. Some come in and don't really know what they want to do at all.
Right.
So.
And that was going to be my next question. Do some come in and say, how do I get prepared to go get a job at such and such a place?
A lot of them do have ideas, and then when we start studying and finding out more the details of the job, they realize that's not what they really want at all. But we can help guide them through different assessments and just different things that are out there, and they can find a place that they are comfortable in and really enjoy. And a lot of
Interesting.
times it is, well, most of the time I should say, it really is a stepping stone. Most of them it's their very first job, and it'll get them experience, and then they can learn more about themselves while they're earning money, and then find out where they maybe want to go or look for from then on out.
Right. I'm still just thinking about that list of the different businesses, the people that work for and so forth. And it's just, I mean, that's great. You've got the flatbread. So you've got some food places. You've got the stores. You've got some behind the scenes businesses.
I do.
Have you? Who's most recently come on board with you?
We've had multiple placements at Home Depot. I'm trying to think of who most recently has come on board. We had Maui Circulation.
Oh, really?
Just a lot of jobs that you wouldn't even know the island had to offer, I guess.
Interesting. Now, do you find that because we have such low unemployment at this
Right.
point, there are companies kind of coming out of the woodwork saying, we need help?
Right. In fact, I had a chef called me this morning looking for a couple cooks up in Lahaina. So our name is getting out there, which is
Right.
great. But because the unemployment rate, it is hard to find qualified employees right now, and that's partly why we're gearing up for our 6th annual job fair.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that job
Okay.
fair. That's I can't believe it's the 6th annual already.
I know, and I'm really excited about this year. We have put together some ideas, put some ideas in place to encourage people to come. We're going to have over 33 employers. We have a chance to win interview clothes that Sears has donated. We have a chance for gift cards at TJ Maxx, free haircuts at the beauty school, and then SafeLink, which is a provider through the track phone, will also be there to help people that qualify get free cell phones, which is very important when you're looking for work. You know, it's
Right.
one of the first questions we ask in our job training class is, do you have a way for us to reach you
Right.
if we find a job or if an employer is calling you? Because a lot don't. So we're going to try to get them all prepared with interview clothes and phones, and then we'll have mock interviews or practice interviews there. Workforce will be there to provide those. And then a lot of different employers. We'll have resorts, businesses, employers from resorts, businesses from grocery stores, almost every arena, tires, just rental cars. The county of Maui will be there to inform us of what jobs they have open.
Now, all the people looking for jobs, are they all your clients that would be at this fair?
Well, hopefully all of our clients will be there, but no, it's open to everybody.
public.
We want, last year we had about 200, little over 200, 250 job seekers there. We want to fill the building. We hope to have more than that. So it is open to everybody, and it gives our community a chance to work together to find employees that are qualified for the positions, and gives our job seekers a chance to see different industries they may not think of. Or where it's going to be next Friday on the 20th from 9 to 11:30 at the Wailuku Community Center. And it's you don't have to come for very long, and we will be giving out free Kalima o Maui pens to help you fill out those applications that you can fill out on site. There will be tables. And some employers will have applications there, and they will also have Wi-Fi if they want you to fill it out online. So no, I'm really excited about the event. It should be wonderful.
So how many people did you have last year? I can't remember.
Seekers or
Seekers.
employers? Well, between 200 and 250. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty substantial. It was wonderful, and we'll have about the same amount of employers. You can't put too many more than that, or in the Wailuku Community Center, there won't be room for everybody. But that's and then after that, in the evening, that same day, since we're going to have the Wailuku Community Center, we're going to have our annual Halloween party, and it will be from 5 to 8, and it's open to everybody that brings a dish, brings a pot. It'll be potluck, and we'll have dancing, I think karaoke maybe, and come in costume. So.
And that's
look forward to you then.
That's for all your previous participants as well as current. And
yes, and we've worked with
employees.
the other agencies that will come also. They usually have people that come too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Potluck. You're going to have to go in the kitchen and cook.
You can just bring some of your entrees.
Oh, ouch.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Gate Gourmet. I know they don't.
Oops. Can we bleep that, Jack? 3-second delay. Does that work for us? Anyway, that sounds like fun. Come in costume, enjoy the evening.
It is fun.
But now you two won't be at the job fair because you got jobs.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, but you can go to the evening thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
be fun.
yeah, that sounds like fun. It's maybe just it's only 11 days, isn't it? Early. I can't believe we're on the what? What is this? The 12th, 11th?
The 11th.
The 11th.
That we're already in October.
Oh my gosh!
I know.
It's crazy.
It is.
So, Kalima, I know is just it's such a great name, and I think one of the things that has always impressed me about Kalima is you raise your own money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
do.
and it's little grant writing, if any.
Mm-hmm.
But you get out there, and like earlier I mentioned, your lawn maintenance people who get contracts for you to fulfill, and then you've got you do the charity walk, you do the 100
holes
of golf, which just is astounding. That's in a day, right?
It is. I think.
I can't imagine, and I know some of the people who take part in it, and it's like a challenge just to make it through it. But it raises good money, and then you also do the what am I missing?
We have a golf tournament
Your
in
golf tournament,
February as
right.
well. Mm-hmm.
Right. So, that also impresses me because I mean we're kind of in the same boat with you. It's not all about grant writing; it's about doing products that sell, and like your maintenance program and things. But the list of people, I mean, that you're responsible for as employees is growing as well.
Yes, it has. We just in our grounds and janitorial, we have grown a lot, and we've hired. We are looking not only.
You're gonna have a table at the.
We are actually. We are looking. We have openings for supervisors, for janitorial supervisors. I think we have an opening or did for PA up in the Waiver Building, and I think we're looking for clients that want to work on our grounds and janitorial because we have been growing, and it's because of the low unemployment rate, it's hard to find qualified people sometimes.
I think I have seen your ads in the one ads.
Yes,
in
we
the
have
paper.
been.
Yeah. That's incredible. I can't say enough for it. Now, the waiver program that you mentioned earlier, this is something that is for ages.
I think I just heard it was 8 and up, but I'm
8
not
and up.
100%
Oh, really? It starts
sure
at
about
young.
the 8. It was, and it's intellectually disabled people that qualified through the Department of Health, and then they all have their own goals. They set through the Department of Health guidelines, and Carrie, our director there, and then they work on the goals. It can be community-based, or it can be cooking, it can be job readiness, preparation, it can be how to work on your budget, it can be numerous goals. Exercise is
I
one
see.
that's a lot, and cooking are two of our biggest goals that we have.
Interesting.
Yeah,
And that's funded through the waivers that the clients have.
right.
That's federal funding,
Department of Health.
Department of Health. Okay. So, I mean, it's just, you guys are awesome.
Thank
I
you.
can't say enough. And Joelle and Connie, you're awesome. Connie? Did I say that wrong?
Close enough.
I'm, what? No, Connie was the other class, the other group. Come on, guys. Help me out here.
Tell her your names.
Noelle and
Joanna. There we go. Noelle and Joanna. Okay, so if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
244-5502. My cell phone is 281-5717. You can reach us at kalimaomaui.org. Debbie at kalimaomaui.org.
Great. Thank you very much. Thanks, ladies, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you down the way.
okay.
I may see you at the front door of TJ Maxx. Maui Nonprofit Notes is sponsored as a community service by Pacific Source, the builder's choice. Give Paul and his staff a call at 986-0380 or stop by their showroom in the Waikapu Base Yard on East Oahe Way to see how they can help you with your building project. The Maui Nonprofit Directors Association's purpose is to provide an opportunity for nonprofit agency directors to gain personal and professional support through cooperative development activities. Maui Nonprofit Directors also provides an opportunity for networking to affect significant positive change in the community. Please visit our website at mauinonprofit.org for a list of member agencies. And if you see an agency there that you'd like to learn more about, please go to their website and check them out. And please volunteer. Every agency needs volunteers for one project or another. Today we visited with the folks from PACT, that's Parents and Children Together, and found out what they are doing to help prevent domestic violence. Give them a call at 243-7001 if you want more information on their programs. Also, we've visited with Kalima o Maui and talked about their programs and talked to a couple people who've got jobs and are working. Hey, we like that. Give them a call at, wait a minute, it's right here somewhere, 243-7001. No, that's not you. Who's that? 244-5502. Okay, now have we got those numbers right? PACT is 243-7001. Kalima Maui's 244-5502. Hey, we want to thank everybody for joining us today. We'll be right back here next week, same time, same place, 11:10 a.m. KAOI Radio on the FM dial 96.7, 96.5 on the west side, 98.7 upcountry. We'll feature representatives of 2 more member agencies at that time. I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific, and your host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great week. Aloha.